Trifecta by Dean Pearl. Chapter 9. It was a typical Sunday. Max showed up at the dojo for his weekly lesson at noon. The girls were already there and doing some stretches when Max came in. "Hey, big brother," Leslie said as Max walked in and locked the door behind him so nobody would walk in thinking they were open. "Yep," Max teased, "Big brother's here to kick some twin girls' butts today. And don't think I'll go easy on you just because we're related." Both girls laughed as Wesley walked up to Max with one hand behind her back. "I have a present for you." "I love presents," Max said real loud. "What is it?" Wesley revealed her hand from behind her back. She was holding a brown belt in it. "This is for you. We think you've earned it." Max was overwhelmed for a few seconds. This was jumping ahead a few colors, and he wasn't sure he was worthy. True, he had been working diligently, even at home, with exercises and stretching, but he was wondering if they were just bumping him up because he was family now. "Is this a family thing, or have I actually achieved a brown belt level?" Max called them out. "Leslie and I talked about it last night, and if anything, we feel we may be a bit late moving you up to this," Wesley told him. "You've been an exemplary student, and you've got the moves down, but most of all, you've achieved a level 4 in confidence in yourself to the point that you can just react to situations without stopping to ask yourself if you're ready or thinking about what you're doing. You just respond now. Are you saying we made a mistake in your ability to defend yourself from just about any attacker?" "No, actually," Max assured her, "not at all. I do feel I am now very prepared to defend myself or even to go on the offense if necessary." "So do you want the belt or not?" Leslie took the belt from her sister and handed it directly to Max. Max took the belt and removed the one he had on to replace it with his new brown one. "Congratulations, Maxie," Leslie told him and gave him a peck on the cheek as Wesley stepped up and gave him a hug. "You deserve it." "As I'm sure you're well aware, I literally couldn't have done it without you," Max said like a speech as he took a little bow. "But seriously, you two have given me so much more than you'll ever even know. And you're great instructors, too. 5 stars. "All right," Wesley told them. "Enough applause. Let's get down to work here." They had an amazing lesson, and it felt to the girls like Max was really stepping up to make them feel he was worthy of their choice to move him up to a new and challenging level. As they were winding down from the day's lesson, Max suggested that maybe they grab some lunch, his treat, on the way over to the studio, and the girls agreed, since they had hardly eaten anything for breakfast. The girls followed him to the Denny's, a couple blocks down, and they found a nice cozy booth to sit in. It was just past the lunch rush, so they had their pick of places to sit, and they chose a booth away from where most of the people were sitting. They checked the menus and ordered their food and sat back to just chit-chat. "You know, we've known each other going on a year here soon," Max said, "and now we find out we're brother and sisters. But I really know so little about your lives and how you grew up. I mean, being twins and all must have led to some interesting situations, right?" Leslie took the lead. "School wasn't much of a big deal. The hardest part about growing up was just not having a mom to talk to about girl stuff. First time I got my period, I thought I was dying." "I remember that," Wesley laughed. "I was scared too because I figured I'd be next. But nobody walked us through what would happen or for how long or how to use a tampon, for God's sake." "What's the difference?" Leslie chimed in. "Dad would only buy us pads because he didn't like the idea of us putting anything inside us, I think." Both girls laughed as Max just kind of blushed. Since he'd never had a sister, he wasn't used to this kind of conversation. "I don't recall ever seeing either of you on a date or talk about a boyfriend," Max stated. "Because our dad would chase away any boys that came sniffing around. He could be very intimidating," Leslie cautioned. "I can imagine," Max said, "but didn't your nannies ever try to guide you about any girl stuff?" "Not really," Wesley replied. "They were changing all the time. About a month or two, we'd get a new one, which was how long my dad would be gone on missions, then home for a few weeks or more for training on base. Then he passed away when we were just 18, Leslie added, "so it's pretty much been just Wesley and I." She looked at Max. "Until our big brother showed up to teach us all about how to be girls." They all laughed. "How about you, Maxie?" Leslie started. "What was it like for you with no dad around?" Leslie had recently started calling him Maxie sometimes, like a nickname, but he wasn't sure how crazy he was about the moniker. "I was only 7 when my dad died, and he wasn't around all that much either. He was always going out of town with some band for a string of gigs. He started teaching me guitar when I was just 5, because I really wanted to learn to play and be like my dad. After he died, my mom tried to be there for me as much as she could, paid for lessons and stuff, even though we were pretty poor. My dad didn't have any big insurance policies or anything, so I remember being on food stamps for a long time. My mom also died when I was 18, so we have that in common too." "What about girlfriends?" Leslie inquired. "I had a girlfriend briefly in high school. She was my first, and I was hers, so our first time was pretty awkward," the girls laughed. Then after high school, he continued, when I started playing in a band, it was pretty easy to get girls to sleep with you. They seemed to like musicians, and apparently our dad did pretty well in that department too. Our dad, Wesley interrupted. That sounds so strange, and we know practically nothing about him. I was just hoping he turned out to be a Nobel Prize winner or something. Max laughed. Did you ever want to be anything besides a musician growing up? Leslie asked. Well, don't laugh, Max said, but I used to dream of being a superhero. After my dad died and no one was arrested for it, no offense to your dad, I used to dream of being like a Batman or something, fighting crime on the streets of Las Vegas under cover of darkness. Another case of me wanting to learn self-defense and shit. The girls thought that was pretty cool. Well, you helped us fulfill a dream by starting a band with us. That was really a dream of ours, Leslie told them. Maybe someday we can help you fight crime or something. They all shared a laugh. So if I may ask, Max adjusted himself in his seat, how did you two end up losing your virginity? Wesley's face went very serious. What makes you think we're not still virgins? Max swallowed hard. You're kidding, right? Yes, she's kidding, Leslie said as both girls cracked up. We both lost our virginity the year after our dad passed away. It was like opening up the floodgates. We were dying to have sex for the first time, but it wasn't that easy for us to find guys. We ended up with two brothers. Remember, Wesley? How could I forget? Wesley laughed. We went out with these two guys for drinks and ended up in the basement of their parents' house, Leslie continued. Their parents were out of town and we turned down the lights and started making out on the couch. It didn't take long until they took us to different rooms and we had awkward, very quick sex. It probably wasn't more than 5 minutes from start to finish, she laughed. Mine didn't even last that long, Wesley remarked, laughing. So we both had a few more dates over the last few years, but we'd rather concentrate on our business and just wait for the right guy at some point. Leslie said, laughing, we were thinking you might be a possibility, but you had to go and become our brother instead. Max was embarrassed, but laughed heartily along with the girls. At this point, their food arrived, and the conversation took a back seat to filling their stomachs. They finished eating, paid the bill, and as they were going to their cars, Max told them, I need to stop for gas, so I'll be just a couple minutes behind you. You know where the spare key is, so just let yourselves in and I'll be right there. Max went and filled his tank, then went inside for a soda. He filled his soda and put a $5 bill into the quarter slot machine they had a few of at the gas station. The one he played was a one-line, 5-coin max bet poker machine. So he bet 5 quarters. He got a 10, jack, ace, and king of spades, and a 4 of hearts. So he held everything but the 4 and hit draw. To his disbelief, it dealt him the queen of spades and made a royal flush for a $1,000 payout. The bell and the light on top of the machine went off as some people in the store wandered over to see what was going on. The clerk told Max he'd have to call the company that maintains the slots to give him the payout, so it might be 15 or 20 minutes. Max told him no problem. He was excited to win $1,000. He figured he better call the girls and tell them he'll be a bit yet. He dialed Leslie's number as he knew she would be the one to get the most excited about his win. She was the wilder side of the twins, and Wesley was more controlled and conservative in her emotions. Leslie, he said as she picked up, this is Max. I'm going to be a few minutes yet because guess what, he teased. I give up what, she said lightheartedly. I just won $1,000 on a slot machine at the gas station, Max said excitedly. He could hear Leslie squeal as she yelled to her sister, Hey, Max just won $1,000 on a slot machine at the gas station. You're kidding, Wesley came over to the phone with her sister. Yeah, Max said, hoping they could hear him over the squealing and laughing. I have to wait for the slot company guy to come pay me, but then I'll be right home. Okay, Leslie confirmed. Hey, could you bring us some ice cream for dessert? We'll celebrate with some sugar. Max was laughing because the twins weren't very strict for the most part about what they eat, considering what great shape they were in. Max came walking into his house about 30 minutes later. The girls were in his studio working on some new tunes they wanted to learn when he came in. Hey, Mr. Lucky, Wesley called out. Did you remember the ice cream? Of course, Max assured her. It's on the counter waiting for you. So how did they pay you? Leslie inquired as Wesley went to fix her and Leslie some ice cream. Do you want some too, Max? Wesley called out as she headed for the kitchen. No, I'm good, Max yelled, informing her. Then turned to Leslie, in cash, and since it's under $1,200, I don't have to report it on my income tax. Let me see it, Leslie encouraged. Max reached into his tight jeans pocket and pulled out a small wad of 9 $100 bills, 6 tens, and 4 fives, counting it out loud as he went. But that's only $980, Leslie assured him. Sure, but I gave the clerk $10 and the guy who paid me $10 as a tip, Max told her. Listen, Max confided, I'm going to drive down to Prim tomorrow and get some lotto tickets. You guys want to go? Max asked. Why don't you just get them here? Leslie asked, confused. Nevada has no state lottery. They think it takes money away from the casinos, he told her. So I drive down to Prim, Nevada on the California border and get some lotto tickets once in a while when the jackpot is high. Right now the Mega Millions is expected to be over $250 million. Wow, Leslie exclaims just as Wesley came back with the ice cream. Wow, what? Wesley asked. Max is going down to Prim tomorrow to buy some lotto tickets because the jackpot is $250 million. Should we go with him? Leslie looked like a little kid that wanted to go to the circus. Well, we're closed tomorrow anyway, so why not? Wesley smiled and Leslie let out a childlike squeal of delight at the thought of trying something completely new to her. She had never gambled in any way before. Let's talk later and play now. Max took over the rehearsal as the girls got behind their instruments and they started walking through a new tune.